Living on $30,000 a year is hard. Let's just be honest about that right up front. Between rent, bills, groceries, and basic transportation, you're probably stretched thin every single month. And then someone tells you to just save more or cut back on lattes. Like, that's gonna magically fix everything. It's frustrating, dismissive, and completely unhelpful. But here's what most financial advice won't tell you. People earning $30,000 can and do build financial stability. Not by following generic advice designed for people earning twice as much, but by avoiding 5 specific mistakes that keep people trapped in financial struggle at this income level. Did you know that according to recent studies, people earning $30,000 who avoid these mistakes are 3 times more likely to have emergency savings and significantly less likely to accumulate debt compared to those who fall into these traps? And if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss out on the valuable insights we share in our future videos. What I'm about to share isn't about deprivation or living like a monk. These are the actual mistakes that drain your money without you realizing it, and how to avoid them so your $30,000 works as hard as possible for you. Let's start with mistake number 1, thinking you can't save anything. The first and most damaging mistake people make at $30,000 is convincing themselves that they can't save any money at all. I hear it constantly. I make $30,000. I can barely cover my bills. How am I supposed to save? And look, I get it. When you're taking home maybe $2,000, $2,200 per month after taxes, and rent alone might be $800, $1,000, it feels impossible. But here's the truth that changes everything. The goal at $30,000 isn't to save $500 per month. It's not even to save $100 per month initially. The goal is to prove to yourself that saving is possible at all. Because once you believe saving is possible, everything else becomes possible. Let me give you real numbers. If you save just $25 per month, less than $1 per day, that's $300 by the end of the year. That $300 is the difference between a car repair sending you into credit card debt or handling it with cash. It's the difference between missing work because you can't afford to fix your car or staying employed. But more importantly, saving $25 per month proves something to your brain. You're not helpless. You have control. You can build something even on a limited income. And that psychological shift is worth more than the $300 itself. Here's how you start. Don't try to overhaul your entire budget. Just find $25 per month. That's about $6 per week. Can you skip one fast food meal? Can you make coffee at home twice instead of buying it? Can you use the library instead of buying one book? Find one small thing that saves $6 weekly and direct that money to a separate savings account immediately. Once you've done $25 per month for 3 months, increase to $50, then $75. You're not trying to save 20% of your income right now. You're building the habit and the belief that saving is possible for you. People who start with this mindset often end up saving $100, $150 monthly within a year, even on $30,000. The big mistake is telling yourself saving is impossible and then proving yourself right by not even trying. That mentality keeps you trapped forever. Mistake number 2, paying for convenience you can't afford. All right, let's talk about something that's probably eating 20 to 30% of your income without you realizing: convenience purchases. At $30,000, every convenience you pay for is coming at the expense of your financial stability. Here's what I mean by convenience purchases: ordering food delivery instead of cooking, buying lunch at work instead of packing it, getting coffee out instead of making it at home, using rideshare instead of public transportation, buying groceries at the expensive convenience store instead of the cheaper grocery store, paying for services you could do yourself if you took the time. Let me show you the real cost. Ordering dinner through DoorDash costs about $25.30 with fees and tip. Making the same meal at home costs $6.68. That's a $20 difference every time. Do that twice a week, and you're spending an extra $160 monthly on convenience. Buying lunch out every workday at $10 instead of packing costs about $200 monthly. Morning coffee out at $4 versus 50 cents at home, another $70 monthly. Add it all up, and convenience purchases can easily cost $400, $500 per month. On a $30,000 salary, that's literally 20 to 25% of your take-home pay going to avoid minor inconvenience. That's the difference between financial stress and financial breathing room. Now, I'm not saying never get takeout or never buy coffee out. I'm saying be intentional about it. Decide which conveniences actually matter to you and cut the rest. Maybe Friday night takeout with friends really matters to your happiness. Great, budget for that one meal. But Tuesday night because you didn't feel like cooking, that's a $25 decision that's keeping you broke. Here's the move. For 1 week, write down every convenience purchase you make and what it cost. At the end of the week, add it up. That number will shock you. Then ask yourself, which of these conveniences genuinely improved my life, and which were just automatic habits I didn't even enjoy that much? Keep the ones that matter. Cut the rest. Direct the savings to your emergency fund. People who do this often free up $200, $300 monthly without feeling deprived because they're still spending on the conveniences they actually value. Mistake number 3, ignoring small recurring charges. Let me ask you a question. Do you know every subscription and recurring charge hitting your account each month? Most people don't. And at $30,000, those small charges add up to big problems. Here's what typically happens. You sign up for a free trial and forget to cancel. You subscribe to a streaming service and barely use it. You have gym membership you haven't visited in 6 months. You're still paying for apps or services you signed up for years ago and completely forgot about. Each one is only $10.15 per month, so they seem insignificant. But let's do the math. Netflix at $15, Spotify at $11, gym membership at $40, Amazon Prime at $15 monthly, a couple of app subscriptions at $10 each. That's over $100 per month right there. On a $30,000 salary, that's 5% of your income going to subscriptions, many of which you might not even be using. Here's what you need to do right now. And I mean today, not when you have time. Pull up your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Go through line by line and highlight every recurring charge. Write them all down with the monthly cost. Then ask yourself about each one. Have I used this in the last 30 days? Does this genuinely add value to my life? If I canceled this, would I even notice? Be brutally honest. That gym membership you've had for 8 months but only visited twice. Cancel it. You can do bodyweight exercises at home for free. That streaming service you only watch during 1 show per year. Cancel it and resubscribe for 1 month when that show is on. Most people discover they can cut $40.60 monthly in subscriptions without missing anything. That's $8,720 annually. On $30,000, that's significant money that could be your emergency fund, your debt payoff, or your breathing room. The mistake isn't having subscriptions. It's having subscriptions you don't use, but keep paying for because you forgot about them or feel like you should use them. Cut them ruthlessly. Your financial stability is more important than a gym membership you feel guilty about not using. Mistake number 4, not having any side income strategy. Here's an uncomfortable truth. $30,000 a year is really hard to build wealth on, even if you avoid all the other mistakes. At some point, you need to address the income side of the equation, not just the expense side. And the biggest mistake people make at this income level is accepting $30,000 as permanent without exploring any options to increase it. Now, I'm not going to tell you to just get a better job like that's easy or simple. But what I am saying is that if you're earning $30,000 from your main job, you should be actively working on some form of additional income, even if it's just $200, $300 per month to start. Here's why this matters so much. At $30,000 specifically, an extra $200 per month represents almost a 10% increase in your income. That same $200 to someone earning $100,000 is only a 2.4% increase. Side income has much more impact at lower salary levels, which means it's actually more valuable to you than to higher earners. But here's the mistake people make. They think side income means starting a full business or working 60-hour weeks. It doesn't. It means finding 5-10 hours per month to earn extra money using skills you already have. Can you babysit 1 weekend per month for $100? Can you do yard work for neighbors for $150? Can you sell things you don't use anymore for $200? Can you pick up one extra shift per month if your job offers overtime? Can you do online tutoring for a few hours per week? Can you pet sit, house sit, or run errands for busy people? The key is starting small and simple. Don't try to build a massive side hustle empire. Just aim to add $200 per month initially using the simplest method available to you. Once you're consistently making that extra $200, you can work on increasing it or finding better opportunities. And here's the critical part. Every dollar of side income should go toward financial goals, not lifestyle. It's not fun money or spending money. It's the money that builds your emergency fund, pays off debt, or creates your financial breathing room. Treat it as separate from your main income and protect it for wealth building. The mistake is accepting your $30,000 salary as fixed and unchangeable. It might be fixed from your main job, but your total income doesn't have to be. Even $200, $300 monthly inside income transforms your financial situation at this level. Mistake number 5, making financial decisions based on what you'll earn later. The final mistake is one I see all the time, and it's devastating, making spending decisions today based on money you hope to earn in the future. I'll get a raise next year, so I can afford this now. I'll earn more eventually, so this debt is temporary. I'll pay this off when I get my tax refund. Here's why this is so dangerous. At $30,000, you have very little financial margin for error. When higher earners make optimistic assumptions about future income, they might get away with it because they have buffers. At $30,000, one wrong assumption can spiral into debt that takes years to recover from. Let me show you how this plays out. You buy a car with a $300 monthly payment because you're expecting a raise to $35,000. But the raise doesn't happen, or it's only $32,000, or you get the raise but then your rent increases. Suddenly you're locked into a car payment you can't actually afford, but you can't get out of it without losing money. Or you put $1,500 on a credit card because you're expecting a $2,000 tax refund, but your refund is only $1,200. Or you get the full $2,000, but then your car needs $800 in repairs. Now you're carrying credit card debt at 22% interest, and that $1,500 becomes $1,800 or $2,000 as interest accumulates. Here's the rule that will protect you. Make every financial decision based solely on the income you have right now, today, not what you might earn later. If you can't afford something on your current $30,000, you can't afford it. Period. Wait until you actually have the higher income and then decide if it still makes sense. This is especially important for debt. Never take on debt based on projected future income. Only take on debt if the payment fits comfortably in your current budget with room for error. At $30,000, that probably means avoiding most forms of debt, except perhaps a modest car loan if absolutely necessary for work. The mistake is living today based on tomorrow's theoretical paycheck. That's how people end up trapped in debt cycles at lower income levels. Live on what you earn now. When you earn more later, you can reassess. But don't borrow from your future self who might not be able to pay it back. Look, I want to be real with you. Living on $30,000 isn't easy, and anyone who tells you otherwise is either lying or has never actually lived on that income. You're not going to become a millionaire next year. You're not going to take luxury vacations or drive a brand new car, and that's okay. But what you can do is avoid these 5 mistakes. Telling yourself saving is impossible, wasting money on convenience you can't afford, ignoring small recurring charges, not having any side income strategy, and making decisions based on future money instead of current money. Avoid these mistakes, and your $30,000 will stretch further than you think. You'll build that emergency fund. You'll avoid debt traps. You'll create breathing room. And most importantly, you'll prove to yourself that you can manage money well at any income level, which sets you up for success when you do earn more. Because here's the truth. If you can't manage money well on $30,000, you won't suddenly be good at it on $50,000 or $80,000. The habits you build now matter forever. Build good ones by avoiding these mistakes, and your financial future will be brighter than you think. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated with more practical financial advice. Living on $30,000 is challenging, but it doesn't have to keep you trapped. Avoid these mistakes starting today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.